So for water bottles, you want to trim your paper down so that you don't have any of the trim marks, those little hatch marks that come out on your design. So everything we see here is what we want, because if you leave anything on the paper, it's going to end up on your mug, on your water bottle. So we're going to take this and we're going to put it face against the water bottle. And we want to figure out kind of where we want it, get it nice and straight. And you'll notice the water bottle has this curve to it where it goes to the neck of the water bottle. So you don't want to have it too far to that. You want to make sure it's nice and on the flat side. I'm going to get one piece of the heat tape along the edge. We always want to go along the edge so that it keeps it nice and smooth and flat, and that we don't have the tape going over where our design is on the other side, because that can leave a mark. So we've got one on. I'm going to smooth it, make sure it stayed nice and straight. Keep smoothing it. We don't want any bubbles. If you get any bubbles in the paper where it's not quite flat against the item, it will leave a ripple in your design. So nice and flat. In the box, you've got two lids and this bottom little anti-skid thing that goes on the bottom there. You don't want any of that on when it goes in the press because it will melt it. This is about to get very, very hot. So leave all this to the side. You just want your water bottle. And now we're ready for the press. So this is our water bottle press. It says water bottle on it. Everything is very hot, so do not touch any of these surfaces if you can help it, because they will burn you. We have our design on here, and now we're gonna use this mat. So these green mats are just for water bottles. We're gonna wrap our water bottle in that as well. There's always gonna be a gap, because the way the press closes, there's always a gap. So you're never gonna be able to go all the way around with your design. And so that gap you want to match up with the gap of where your design is, where the paper is, and where the mat is. So the way I do this, and this one is a little tricky, and if you need help or you're nervous, ask your teacher to help you. But you'll see I've got the gap in the design and this gap, and it's all going to meet that gap. And what I do is I don't use the heat gloves for this because I find it very hard to hold this and get it into the press with the gloves on. You can try, but it's tricky. So what I'm gonna do is I've got this really squeezed hard to pinch here, and I'm gonna slide it into here. Now all this is very hot, so you don't wanna burn yourself. And as I close the press, I'm gonna pull the mat all the way down. That way, this is coming out, you're not gonna get any weird ripples, and hopefully everything will be nice and smooth. The other thing you need to be aware of when it's in there is that this is all that's gonna get heated, is this area here. And so you need to make sure your design is in that area, that your water bottle is not too far to the left or too far to the right, so that it's getting that contact with the heating element. Once the press is closed, it's already started its timer, so it'll beep when it's done, and we'll show you that in just a second. So our timer's going off. That means our press is done. So I'm gonna hold here while I lift. I've got my heat glove on my left hand so that I can maneuver easier with my right hand because I'm right-handed. We're gonna pull this out. Everything is very hot. The mat is very hot. So don't set it somewhere where you're gonna burn someone. Don't touch it with your ungloved hand. So I'm gonna take this over to the light table. And there's some weeding tools here that we use. There's some tweezers. And this will help us pull this off while it's hot so we don't burn ourselves. And you just have to be careful that you don't scratch the surface of your water bottle with this. So I'm gonna kind of slide it under the corner and pull. Once I have the paper, I can use my hands. I just don't want to hurt myself by burning. There. So we're going to get all that off. You don't want to wait till it cools. If you wait till it cools, it will stick. It'll be really hard to get off. And so now this is very hot, but we have our design. The colors always look a little bit different when it's hot, and it'll change when it cools off. The big designs are hard. You'll see sometimes you get that little bit of speckling, but that happens with the big ones. So you kind of have to just work with what you can live with and design accordingly. And then once it cools, we'll show you how to prep it to go home. So our water bottle is nice and cool now. So I'm gonna apply the little anti-slip pad. So it's nice and sticky. I'm gonna try and keep it clean while I get it here. You can try and take that sticker off. I just put them over it because it's not easy to get that sticker off. And just aim well because it's pretty sticky. Smooth it down. And then you can take both of these. You get the option of which kind of lid you like. If you want to take them both, you can. If you don't, I've got a box under the heat press table where you can kind of throw these extras in case somebody loses one or needs one. And then you're ready to go. You can take the box with you to take it home, or you can recycle the box here. And you're all set.